Hello people, how are you all doing? Having a good day so far, I hope? Fantastic. So, the Smallville finale, that comic book, yeah. A lot of people have been questioning the comic book itself and its existence, and why is Chloe reading a comic book about Clark Kent becoming Superman to a young kid? And it's like, pretty much, if that's the case, everybody now knows who Clark actually is, kind of thing. But here's the thing. If you look closely at the front of the comic, the date reads April 11, as in 2011. Okay, so that comic book was done 7 years ago. Okay, if we're looking at the show from when Chloe's reading the comic book to this boy. So 2011 was when the comic book was published. Now, what's to say that that's the only copy of that comic book? What's to say that there are multiple copies of the comic book? How do we know that there's more than one copy? You know, we don't know that, but we're to assume that more than one copy of that comic will exist. But what would have happened to the other copies, God only knows. How many other people have read it, know who Clark really is? Again, who knows? But what is interesting for me is that the fact that it says 2011 is you have to wonder, what if Chloe already knew about this comic? Because remember when she was about to leave Clark and Lois and Martha and Oliver at the farm, she gave Clark a hug and then said to him, "See you in the funny pages." Now somebody actually pointed this out. I can't remember who it was that pointed that out to me, or if I watched it somewhere, but "see you in the funny pages," and that kind of gave you that sort of hint that maybe Chloe, because obviously she wore the helmet of Dr. Fate at the very beginning of the season, that should have given us all a hint to say, well, Chloe has to know about the comic. She must know of some form of existence of the comic book as well. So again, as I say, is it just the one copy? Are there multiple copies? You know, she's had that comic for 7 years now. Whether she's had it for 7 years or someone's given it to her or something, I don't know how she would have acquired the comic anyway. But Chloe clearly had some sort of intuition that Clark was going to appear in a comic book. Otherwise she wouldn't have said "see you in the funny pages." But then again, as I say, I'm just speculating. This is my theory here. The way I see it, the comic was published in 2011. Chloe has had that copy for 7 years, and she reads it to this young kid who, as far as I can tell, is going to become the younger version of Speedy. Well, the new Speedy anyway. Or there's also Connor Hawke, of which many people believe that the kid is actually Connor Hawke, which is Oliver and Dinah's son. Although it's not Oliver and Dinah's son. It's Oliver's son, but through someone else. I cannot really remember. I know a lot of people have told me stuff. Kind of memory's a bit faded. But regards just to the comic book itself, as I say, regards to the comic book itself, that's what I think. I don't think that there is more than one copy. I don't think that a lot of people know of who Clark really is. So that's just my piece on it. I mean, you know, you lot let me know what you think. Whether you think that it is just the one copy, or did all the other copies get lost in the ether somewhere? Did Satana have anything to do with it as well? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just making a speculation. I just started thinking about it today, and I thought, well, the comic book states 2011. April 2011 was when it was published, and she's had it for 7 years. She must have known. She must have known. Anyway, but I'm going to leave it there, people, and I'll see you all later. Bye.